Airstream song, cruising to the campsite singing our song. Airstream song, we are the Airstream nerds.
Today I'm going to put the Apple TV. I'm going to attach this Apple TV to the back of the TV from the front room area, living room area, kitchen, dining, whatever you want to call it, right there. The reason why we're going to put the Apple TV in is with iOS 8 you can use Airplay to stream videos that are stored on your iDevice, iPhone, iPad, what have you, without needing a wireless internet connection. It works locally. You makes it pretty easy. So I'm going to take these brackets, which I found on Amazon for like 10 bucks, and there's tons of different types of these brackets on Amazon. They're all relatively cheap. This one I liked because it has holes in it made for wire ties. So I'm not going to just rely on the adhesive that comes on here. I took the 10/12 or so screws off the back so I can lift the back and tie this thing securely. Make sure when you take the screws off on the rim part, you know, the ones in these little parts right here, that you take off. You loosen this screw here, and you also have to loosen up the 4 bracket screws. Pretty simple. Lift the back off a little bit. The way that they've got the audio cables, looks like they might be soldered in or something like that, so I haven't taken the back all the way off to look, but just be aware you can't pull it all the way off because of those cables. I'm going to also use a power cord splitter, because I've got, you know, the male plug here with 2 females right here, because as you know the plugs here are single, not duplex. Now I could just replace with a duplex plug, but this should work just as good. TV comes off. Basically the 2 pins on the back of the TV slide down in these key slot type hooks. That's supposed to be some sort of stop bracket that I can't figure out how it works, but I do know that you need to turn it sideways in order to slide them in easy. These are the pins on the back of the TV. Okay, so I got the bracket attached. It's pretty easy. Make sure before you put it on there you remember to take the 3M adhesive backing off. It's basically going to be held by this wire tie. Now I didn't cheat and get a really cheap wire tie from the dollar store or something. These are UV rated indoor-outdoor cable ties. They're not very expensive. I'm in the AV business, so we have tons of these, use them all the time. It'll be protected from the sunlight or anything like that, getting cold or hot and cracking and failing later. We put it back all together and I'll mount it back up. Alright, so here's the Apple TV attached and the HDMI cable connected to the back of the TV. Now I loosened up these screws right here and slid a tie underneath and tightened them up. Now one bit of advice: it's okay to use a screw gun, electric screw gun, battery, whatever you want to call it, to remove the screws, but I would recommend using a handheld screwdriver to tighten them in, tighten them back, and basically just snug them. You don't need to go crazy with them. Now, I'm not a big fan of 90-degree adapters for the HDMI's, but I had a couple of these laying around which are the wrong direction. I need them 90 degrees, not at this angle. So I'm going to go without right now. The cable's going to stick out just a hair, and I might go ahead and order a couple just to match it up so it's not sticking out into the walkway here. Alright, now we've also put the power cable splitter up in there and put it into the little plastic bracket. As you can see, the Apple TV's tucked in there. That bracket might be a little fat. If anybody wants to know the exact bracket that I bought, please comment. The cable doesn't stick out that far, but you know, it might be a hassle. The only issue with those 90-degree cables, the adapters is we've already got one in there, so the second one won't be able to run that way. So I'm just going to leave it like this. It's not an ugly cable. Make sure that you route the power correctly. Careful putting everything back in. As you can see, everything's nice and neat. We don't have any wires spilling down. The power cord doesn't look crazy out of place. And of the two, this will be the hardest TV. The other one's pretty simple. Mainly because the so much access behind that TV because it's a tilt bracket here in the bedroom. As you can see, Apple TV is up and running. You can take it from me that this thing is not connected to any network. Here's a video I have on my iPad.
Shooting on an icon body.
There you go.
These two bodies offer compact size,
So Airplay for my iPad over here to the TV, wirelessly, no network, nothing at all. Works pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to start the bedroom TV. The first thing we're going to do is pull the strap down to release so we can get the TV out. Now this one we're going to have to mount it a different way. There's no vents on the back of it, so I had to take the mount off the TV, and I'm going to actually drill a couple of little holes in the back of the TV to put wire ties through. But in order to get this TV to tilt, to get this last screw out, there is a there's a small Allen head screw right there, and there's one on the bottom. Once you loosen that up, there's another big Allen wrench right there, and you loosen it up a little bit and the whole thing tilts and you can access that screw. Otherwise, the mount sits up like this and you can't get the screwdriver onto that screw. Just a couple of Allen screws right in here. Just loosen those two screws, and then you want to take the bracket off because we're going to want to use it for spacing on the back of the TV, so our bracket sits where we want it to sit. The TV's sitting on the table. I'm going to take the screws off of it. I'm going to mark the case up in here where I want to mount. I'm just going to drill two little holes in the case, just plastic. Not probably voids the warranty, but hell, this is a $100 TV if you go to Best Buy or something like that. It's not a special TV for campers. So put a piece of blue tape down. I've got the bracket screwed in lightly with a couple of the screws. I got my bracket. Now if your bracket doesn't have the holes in it, simple enough, drill you a couple. I got the bracket lined up. I want it kind of butted up against this. I've test fitted everything so it fits nice. So I'm going to space it out just a hair. I'm going to take a marker. I want to mark those two holes, then I'm going to take the back out and drill those two holes right quick. Alright, this cover is a little bit more tricky. You got the 4 screws here, which are along the bottom of this thing. Then you've got the one screw that's right next to the RCA cables, RCA inputs. And then once you get those screws out, somewhere right in here, there's a place where the cover snaps on. You just basically have to take a small straight screwdriver, something like that, and just pop it loose. Be careful because none of this stuff is attached. It kind of gets put back in the back once we assemble everything again. Once again, this is not a beginner little project. It's not difficult. You really can't screw anything up if you take your time and go slow. Basically, I'm just drilling 2 little holes right there and mounting the little iPad Apple TV bracket to it. Since I had it open, I went ahead and I put both zip ties on there and the adhesive. This mount's not going anywhere. No real trick to putting it back together. Just make sure that things get lined up, the speakers line up, the RCA's line up in the hole, everything slides right back together. Pretty simple. And once you get the mount back on, Don't forget to tighten this big Allen wrench right here, and then follow that up with tightening the lock screws to keep it from working loose. Right, here's the back of the TV. Apple TV is in place. Everything bracket wise tightened back up. Everything that I loosened up is back to where it was. Now I'm just going to go back, get the wiring taken care of. We won't need a power splitter on this one because it is a duplex outlet already back here. So I'm just going to put the Apple TV wire into that plug, and I may or may not put it into the snake skin. Looks like the snake skin, they have a bunch of it, but they've got some black tape on the ends and stuff holding it together. It is split snake skin, so I can get to the wires. So I may just redo the areas where the black tape is. This was a lot more involved. Make sure where the HDMI is right here, make sure that you're going to have to move the power supply. This is the best spot I could find without covering up serial numbers and so on and so forth. So I just bought, I didn't buy it, but I have it, industrial strength Velcro. Cut a little piece of that, put it on the back, Velcro it in. To help support it a little bit, I've got the power cable tied right here, so it's not gonna, even if it comes loose, it's not gonna fall. Power cord here comes up. Just kind of make sure that you get everything set in there. Take your time, have some patience, and everything will go in here nice and solid. So here you go, all wrapped up. There we go.
To help you
Press
out there,
play.
what we
And
will
we
cover,
are
though,
streaming
is a detailed look at the D610 and the D600 camera.
without
This class will
Wi-Fi.
help you learn how to use your camera.
That's
in
it.
its many settings.
I installed the two Apple
Go get your
TVs.
camera and keep it close
set 'em
by
up.
so you can get hands-on as we
Works.
explore its many features and controls.
Keep in mind it's the iOS 8 update with the
In this course, we'll explore some
Apple,
of
the
the hard skills of
iPad
photography.
Air
Specifically,
2.
you'll learn how to use your
I know the
particular camera.
the iPad
Think
2.
of this as the button-pushing skills that will help you.
The Apple iPad 2 does not work, will not work without being on a network. It will still AirPlay, of course, because it's, you know, it's an Apple deal, but it will not stream like at a campground where you don't have a Wi-Fi signal. Things like that. So once we're out at a campground and we don't have the internet and it's pouring down raining and we don't feel like sitting outside getting wet, we can come inside, relax, either up there in the front or back here with old Riley there, and enjoy some TV shows or movies or whatever we have brought with us. Also, the Blu-ray player up there in the front, that is connected to both TVs, so you can also bring your DVDs, Blu-rays, music CDs, things like that, and you're good to go there too. So that's all for now. Any questions, any comments, please put them down below, and until next time, this is Jeff Garner, Airstream Nerds.